We want to leave them a legacy of practicing Christianity anyhow they want it. What legacy are you leaving behind? How do you live your life? Are you telling your children to do what you are not practicing it? Because they said to Jeremiah, we that we are alive here, we are not going to drink the alcohol, and our children will not drink it, and our wives will not drink it, our boys and our girls, they will not drink it. They will not drink it. What legacy are you leaving behind? When you are not around, because the person that gave them this command that they should not drink is not around. But he lived by the legacy. He lived by it. He practiced what he told his people not to do. He practiced it. And because he practiced it, they did what was left behind. And they follow it. Landmark, they follow it. And they said, we are not going to do it. Our daughters will not do it. Our children will not do it. Our wives will not do it. They did not tell them and do something else. They did, and they practiced. What legacy? Have we thought of that? Or you are living your life, it is my life, I can live it as I want. I own myself, I can decide what I want to do. No. No. You are living a legacy of pride and arrogance. You are living a legacy of disobedience to your generation. Because your actions will let them make decisions how to live their life when you are not around. They see you as a Christian. They never see you holding Bible in the house. Unless you are going to church. Then you tell them to fear God, you tell them to read the Bible. They cannot, because they have not seen you practicing it. Look at our youth today. And ask yourself, look at the society today. Look at our children. Look at marriages. Look at homes. Look at how our churches are now. And ask yourself, if we continue doing what we are doing today, what legacy are we leaving for the next generation? What will happen to those coming after us when we are old, when we are not around, when we have died and gone? What will happen to Christianity? What will happen to our children? Coming back to my question, what legacy you and I are leaving behind? What legacy are we leaving behind? What legacy are we leaving behind? And I read my Bible in the house. I have my own principles, how to serve my God. You have your own way, how to serve your God. Because you control your God. You don't live by the principles God has laid down. You don't live by the word. Because God said, I have prepared a place where all the Israelites will meet and worship me. And the book of Hebrews said, don't forsake the gathering of the saints. But you have your own principles. You have a type of message you want to hear. You have a way of serving your God, the time and everything. You have your way means to serve your God. You have laid your own principles down. That is okay. If that's the legacy you want to leave behind, I want you to consider, is it going to help your generation? Is it going to help people that are watching you? If somebody emulates that legacy that you are leaving behind, is it going to help them? Look into it. I still go back to my question. What legacy are you leaving behind? Compromising your faith. You are a Christian. When you get to a place, you are not a Christian. When the world people gather, you are there. The acts that the worldly people act, the same acts that you act, because you don't want them to know that you are a Christian. You compromise your Christianity. You're jealous when you see others prospering. And that's how your children know you. That's how people know you about. Jealousy. You don't want others to progress. You don't want to see people feeling happy and succeeded, having testimony. Wickedness. Is that the legacy you want to leave behind? Lies. When they say lie, white lie, and you are a Christian. Envy, jealousy, hatred. You can't forgive. Is that the legacy you want to leave behind? And if you continue to do that, what legacy are we leaving behind for the generation? What do we want them to know? How do we want them to live out their life? How do we want them to succeed and prosper? How can they know spiritual warfare? Because in life is full of battle. How can they succeed? How can they know? How can we teach them? Because we are not creating awareness of spiritual warfare. So how can they know? How can they know? We are not equipped them with the authority and the power of the word of God. So how did they know? How would they know? We are not preparing them for the battle ahead. That when they grow up and they face challenges, this is how they should win the battle. This is how they should go about the situation. This is how they should position themselves in the situation. We are not preparing them for the battles ahead. We are not letting them know that all battles are won, victories are assured in their needs, which is prayer. We are not letting them know. And I'm coming back to my question. What legacy are we leaving behind? We are folding our hands for too long. We have ignored that aspect of life for too long. If we are doing what God wants us to do, if we are being in the position where God wants us to be, my dear, heaven and the sky should have been our limit. What legacy are we leaving behind? What impact are we making in our society? What are we practicing that people, those that are watching us, can be able to emulate? What are we doing? And after you are not around, what will happen to your children? What will happen to your family? What will happen? How do you want to be remembered? What landmark have you left behind that someone can follow it and better their life? What legacy are we leaving behind? Book of Timothy, 2 Timothy 4:3-6 says, the time is coming where people will not put up with sound doctrine. Today we are not putting up with sound doctrine. People don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to hear the word of God. People don't want to read their Bible. And if we abandon the very source of your life, how can you leave a legacy that will benefit generation? Bible says instead they will gather themselves great number of teachers and said what their itchy ears want to hear. And if you turn your ears to false teachings, if you close your ears from the truth, obviously, you are leading the generation into disaster. You are leading the generation to disaster. Because you have laid a wrong foundation for them. And they will not know what to do with their life. And they will end up belongs to a life where it will not benefit the society. What legacy are we leaving behind? Are we going to continually ignore sound doctrine? Are we going to gather around us continually hearing false teachings? Can you imagine that as you are growing up, your teacher will taught you how to write your name, and the spelling that they taught you is wrong. Your name is maybe A-M-A, then they say M-A-E. Then when you pronounce it and you spell it, they are contrary to each other. Can you imagine if your teacher didn't taught you how to write correctly, how you could have lived your life today? But the Bible says a time is coming, and I believe you agree with me that we are not stranger in this time. Today, people don't want to hear the truth. Today, people are self-centered. People are not thinking of those that are coming after us. We are living a life is only me and all about me. What legacy are you leaving behind? Book of Isaiah 30, verse 10-11 says, say to the seer, see no more visions. And to the prophet, give no more visions of what is right. Tell us present things that are good, things that we enjoy, things that we want to hear. Is it not what is happening today? And do you know how long this scripture has been written? Tell us present things. Prophesy deceits. Prophesy deceits. And I will say illusions. Prophesies illusions for us. Fancy, deception, false belief, fake impression. Prophesies deceit for us. Something that is fancy. Is it not what we are run after? And ask yourself, if we continue to do that, what legacy are we leaving behind for our children in Christianity? If you continue to live your life fakely, how do you want your children to live their life? If you continue to abuse people, how do you want your children to live their life? If you continue to be abusive, how do you want your children to live their life? If you rejoice over evil and hate good, how do you want your children to live their life? Going back to my question, what legacy are you leaving behind? Because book Isaiah 30 that I was reading says, Levin says, live this way, get off this path, and stop confronting us with the holy word of God. So at least they know that what they are hearing is the truth, but they have blocked their ears. We want to do it in our own way. We want to live it in our own means. We want to get it by all means. It is all about me. It's all about my children. My dear, whichever way you walk around it to get it for your children, you are leaving a bad legacy for your children tomorrow. You are leaving a stigma for your children tomorrow. What legacy are you leaving behind? Book of Nehemiah could have been a book for anyone. But because he left a legacy, the book was addressed to him. The book was addressed to him. Hallelujah. Because Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 3-4 tell us that Nehemiah was asking, what happened to the remnants that went back to Jerusalem? And the Bible said they told him that there is a trouble. When they went back, things are not good at all. The shame and disgrace, you cannot imagine. The wall has broken down. The doors has burned into ashes. There's no home for them to live. There's no food for them to. And the Bible said when Nehemiah heard those things, he wept, he prayed, and he asked God, is there any way I can do it? Is there any way I can help? Is there any way I can intervene? When you hear things going wrong in the life of people, when you hear things going wrong in your society,